All right, hey, welcome back to day 2 of the toy box build for my first boss's first son's first birthday. Did I get that right?
Yes, but first!
We have to cut a groove in the top of it so you can get your fingers under there to lift the lid up. So that's the first thing we're gonna do today is we're gonna draw it out and then we're gonna cut it out with the jigsaw. When the box is fully assembled, this entire joint right here, the small ones are gonna go into the corner like this. And if this is drilled into this piece, the whole corner is only gonna be supported by those glues and that pocket screw right in there on this joint. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way, maybe a block or something right in here to add strength in that corner. Because I know pocket holes are not the strongest thing in the world. So we'll figure something out for that. All right, and so to strengthen the corners like we talked about, I've decided in order to also hide these ugly screw heads, we're gonna take a little bit of oak and we're just gonna make and glue a piece right there in the corner. That's gonna add a lot of strength to the joint as well as give it more glue surface instead of just depending on those pocket screws on the outside. That way there'll be structure on the outside of the joint as well as on the inside of the joint. All right, so now I'm gonna take these and put them in an L shape, and then I'm gonna put them in the corner to hide the screws and give it a little bit more support. And again, I'm gonna glue this, but I also have to remember to leave 3/4 of an inch space from the bottom. You're looking at the bottom of the box right now. That way it can accept the bottom panel that we're gonna put in.
Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip this entire box over. We're gonna put these planks here to make the 4th wall, and then we're gonna put these exact same supports on that side.
All right, so now that we have finished all the supports and we're just waiting on this glue to dry, so now I'm gonna measure this open portion for the bottom that we're gonna be putting in this way. So we'll cut that out of plywood in just a minute, but I wanna get an actual real world measurement of what this is gonna be because it's probably not perfect to the plans. The next thing is to cut the bottom panel out of this plywood here. This is sanded plywood. It's oak, so it matches the rest of the box. It's B grade plywood, but this goes in the bottom, so this being a toy box, I'm not really sure they're ever gonna see the bottom of it. So, rectangular piece, measured it. It's on this piece of scrap wood here. It's 24 and 9/16 by 40 and a half. Hopefully I don't lose this piece of scrap wood. And yeah, so I'm gonna cut this out with a circular saw because I don't have a $10,000 professional cabinet saw, which would be really nice. My birthday's coming up.
Not that big of a birthday, that's for sure.
So anyway, we're gonna cut this out with a circular saw, but first we're gonna trace it out with a drywall square. All right, we got 24 and 9/16 by 40 and a half. So this should just drop right in. But before we do that, I'm gonna go around and do some pocket holes on the outside. That way we can secure it to the walls of the box and it won't just be attached to the corners so the plywood doesn't sag over time with toys in it. So let me grab my pocket hole jig. Here it is. So if you don't want to spend a lot of money on the big fancy jig, you can just get this little tiny $20 one and clamp it down, and you can still make really nice pocket holes pretty much anywhere. So let me change bits in the drill. For any of you that are worried about the strength of pocket screws, no problem. So leave your hate in the comments below. And then go away because we don't want you watching our videos. If anybody hates pocket screws, I take that very personally because that means you hate America. Aren't they Canadian though? If you don't like pocket screws, you can unsubscribe from this channel. If you don't like pocket screws, I don't like you. If you don't like pocket screws, do you even like kids?
If you don't like pocket screws, do you even like efficiency or progress?
A person who hates pocket screws probably hates CNC machines too. If you hate pocket screws, you probably hate advancement of all kinds. You're probably Amish, which means you're probably not even watching this video. Every tool was new at some time. Pocket screws are no exception. All right, so the hard part is done. The big box is finished. Now it's time to build the lid. So the lid is gonna be made up of 5 of those 1x6s stacked together, just like one of the front and back panels, except it's gonna be the width and length of the top of the box itself. So we'll do the same thing. We'll cut them down to length on the miter saw. We'll do the chamfer on the edge so it gives it that nice texture.
Yeah.
And then we'll attach them together with a couple of long runners on the bottom. You'll see what I'm talking about later. And that's pretty much it. Just install hardware, finish and paint, and it'll be done. So
It's a beast of a toy box, that's for sure.
yeah,
It
it's
is.
heavy. I bet it's at least 50, 60 pounds right now.
It's 2 of us. We just got done moving across the garage and we're like, holy moly.
But it's sturdy. It should last.
It is.
It should last a long
It's
time.
gonna last this kid forever.
I kind of don't want to give it away.
You want it for all your toys?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
All right, so now the next part is to glue all these up into the lid. And the best way that I know how to do that to deal with expansion and contraction issues is just to line them all up and glue it with the pipe clamps. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna figure out the orientation we want. We're gonna lay them all down on the pipe clamps and we'll call it a day once that glue's set up and we can just wait for it to dry. All right, so we're gonna call it a night after that. We've had a long day. We finished up the sides. We pretty much finished the main body of the box. We've got the lid glued up. We're gonna wait for this to dry overnight. And then we're gonna come back tomorrow and we're gonna put in all the hinges, the hardware, the spring assisted lifts so it doesn't mash little guy's fingers. I don't think there's anything else.
Just a lot of big smart words, like algorithm.
Yeah, well.
It's time to call it a night, folks.
Yeah, it's like 11:30 right now, so we're both pretty tired. We both have work in the morning. So if you watched this far, you probably enjoyed the video. So if you don't mind, hit that subscribe button, keep up with us, see what projects we're up to next. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please like it. It really helps out with YouTube's algorithm and stuff so other people can find us. Ow. It was dumb.
It was dumb.
I got a splinter.
Got a splinter.